Hello and welcome to the News Cache, your daily roundup of gaming news with myself and Marta. Today is the 17th of June and this time I'm bringing you some news regarding the Zelda Wii U, Forza Horizon 2, Dragon Age Inquisition and Dead Space. So let us begin with Zelda Wii U. Now, according to the series director Onuma, he's basically said that there will be less tutorials in this particular game. Now, he admitted during an interview with Kotaku that his desire to ease new players into the game went a bit too far, making everyone, regardless of experience, slog through hours of introduction before, of course, they were then free to explore the main game. And Onuma said, quote, "When we created Skyward Sword, I really felt the need to make sure that everyone playing the game understood it. But I also understand now that in hindsight, that when you go out and buy a game, you buy the game because you want to play it, and you don't want to have any obstacles in the way. And I guess it was received as a bit of an obstacle." And then he continued, quote, "In a game, it's when you get stuck when you want that help. And I kind of front-loaded all that in Skyward Sword, and it doesn't really help to get the information when you don't know what to do with it. So that was a real learning experience for me, so I'm going to be careful not to do that." So, to be honest, I think anyone who actually found the tutorials in that particular title an issue should just find that definitely good. I think having in-game tutorials, maybe even woven into the world in the forms of like a fortune teller who tells you rough hints of what to do or what have you, would be good, as of course there is a danger with an open world game if you're just wandering around aimlessly, not actually knowing what the next bit is that would get you back onto the main quest. So they do need to get a delicate balance, but not having tutorials shoved in your face is definitely something that a lot of games need to work on. And front loading is never good. I've criticised games for this myself in the past, so good to see them taking their past lessons and using it to create a better game. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't really been interested in buying a Wii U. But with Zelda Wii U and of course Wind Waker HD and a few other titles now coming out for the Wii U, I may just have to finally put up my cash and get one because the Zelda Wii U is looking very, very cool. But regardless, let's move on to our next topic, which is of course Forza Horizon 2, which will not be launching with microtransactions, and that's according to the game's director, who goes by the name of Ralph Fulton, and he's confirmed that the game will not feature the same token system which was in Forza 5. And he said, quote, "The approach we've taken is that we designed our game at Playground Games from the ground up to be fair, to be fun, to be rewarding. That's incredibly important to us. For that reason, we will launch in September without tokens. We've got an amazing list of 200 plus cars and we want you to explore it. We want to enable you at very regular intervals to be able to change your car, pick a new one from a list. If that doesn't work out, you're able to buy a new one really quickly." Now, of course, the original Forza Horizon did not have a token system, but of course did feature DLC car packs coming out roughly every 6 months. Now, Forza 5 has come under heavy criticism, and rightly so, for having microtransactions, and many considered the price for vehicles to be unfair, and basically was thought to be encouraging players to spend more money to get cars quicker rather than being balanced and all that good stuff. Now, I've said this many, many times. I've lost count of how many times I've said this now, to be honest. No AAA full-priced release should have microtransactions in any shape or form. I don't care what your game is. If I'm paying money to play your game, I'm not paying microtransactions. You shouldn't be giving me the option to pay for microtransactions. Now, what worries me here is the wording is very, very clever. He said, "We will be not launching with tokens." He's not saying Forza Horizon 2 will not have microtransactions. He said it won't launch with them, which makes me think that later on down the line they're probably going to add them in. Hopefully I'm proven wrong, but the wording definitely seems to go that way to me, and I will not be surprised if in a few months' time or after the release or whatever, I'm doing another video ranting about how Forza Horizon 2 has microtransactions. I'm just calling it now, guys. You can buy me a pint or something if I'm right. Anyway, guys, next up is Dragon Age Inquisition. And of course, we have some news regarding this from Bioware and Mark Darrah, who is an executive producer for Dragon Age Inquisition, and he's clarified that the game's 40 different endings are variations that will reflect the decisions you have made as a player. Now, of course, this follows comments that were made last week by the producer Cameron Lee, who made the original comment about Dragon Age Inquisition having 40 endings, and he felt the need, this is Mark of course, to explain, as of course players were understandably like, what, 40 endings, are you crazy? And he said, quote, "Ending clarification. Most endings are major variations based upon your choice in the game. There are only a few completely unique endings." So what we probably have is large groups of endings that are actually fairly similar to each other but have differing things of certain characters are there, certain characters aren't there, or certain characters do certain things or whatever, depending on your actions within the game. So it's not 40 unique endings, that would literally be insanity. So it's nice to get some clarification there. And to be honest, it makes perfect sense. It wouldn't really be possible to have that many unique endings. And finally, let us finish up with Dead Space, as the EA Studios Executive Vice President Patrick Soderlund has made some comments that suggesting that the series might actually be back. And he said to Polygon, quote, "To the largest extent we can, we want to get the game teams to work on the things they want to work on themselves. There's an incredible amount of enthusiasm over Hardline and the Star Wars game at Visceral. Do I think we will create a Dead Space game again? Yes, I think so, but when we do so, we have to think about what made the previous one successful and how we go about envisioning Dead Space for a new generation. Now, I'm not announcing a Dead Space game. We're not building one, just to be very clear, but I'm saying, is there an opportunity or possibility to do one in the future? Absolutely." Now, of course, Dead Space 3 didn't do that well, and then of course they basically said there wasn't going to be Dead Space 4, and there were rumours that the series had been axed entirely, which of course EA moved to deny, but it did look like Dead Space was at least going to take a little bit of a vacation. But it's nice to know that this much beloved series will be making a return at some point, but probably not for a couple of years, as of course Visceral are going to be quite busy. Now that might give them time to kind of get a break from the series and actually breathe some new life into the franchise. Of course, Dead Space 3 was a little bit mixed in terms of the reviews, especially due to the microtransactions, but even taking that out of the equation, it was quite mixed, as I said. So hopefully a bit of time away is all Visceral needs to make it a return to form when they finally do. Of course, we'd all like to see a return to the more horror-focused gameplay of the first one. Anyway guys, that is me done for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.